Shannon McCartney. There she is. Do you guys have a name for her? Because we call her Jenny. That's Jenny, by the way.
She doesn't have a name, but I feel like she's a Karen.
No.
Yes, I was thinking Karen.
No, it's Jenny. Anyway, that was Jenny. I'm Shannon. I'm a mum of two, a fitness instructor, a big mental health advocate, and I've been in the business for 5 years now. And I always say, whenever I do a call like this, if you were to look at my graph, it would honestly make you vomit. I go up, I go down, I go up, I go down. But over the period of 5 years, I have definitely grown so much, not in my business, but as a person as well. And that is what is so important. So I love doing these calls because I know there'll be people on this call, and give me a yes in the comment if you've experienced your first dip and you're like, oh my God, this is it. The game is over. The business is done. Honey, I'm going home. I quit. It's a scam. Okay. This is your first dip of many, so don't stress. And it's here to make you grow. It's here to make you glow and grow, and we're going to get through it together. So don't worry. But yeah, that's me. I'm a qualified national marketing director in the business, and I do this full time. So yeah, that's a bit about me.
Yeah, and I'm also a qualified national marketing director. I'm Ellie Myhill. I've been in the business for 3 years now, got 2 little children, and I'm also a teacher part-time. Just like Shannon, my graph has gone up and down. I actually had a really slow start in this business, really slow. So it took me, we always laugh about it now, but it took me 2 years to get SP points. I was hanging on in there. But I think that's a really good thing in a lot of ways, because you do have to become very resilient to remain in the business that long on such, I would say, such a low business, which, you know, it's not everything. Like, you learn a lot in this. And like Shannon said, like, it's not just the business that I've learned, it's I've grown so much as a person as well. And I think that actually, yes, the money's amazing, but I think most leaders who you ask what they love most, it'll be their personal development journey and like the person they become. And yeah, this is probably like my favorite topic we're going to talk about. So excited.
I love it. Well, the first thing we're going to talk about is why it is important to go through hard times, because I hope you guys are okay and we're going to be besties and we can just be real talk. Is everyone okay to be real talk? Okay, there's some nodding. That's good.
That's what we like.
Okay, let's not lie. It's shit. Like, it's shitter than shit where you're like, smashing this business. Let's go. And then you get a crash. Like, we're not going to glamorize it. It's crap. You feel awful. You feel like you failed. Totally normal to feel that way. But it might shock you, but we're actually going to talk about the fact it's important to have these periods. Any business in the whole entire world will never go up, 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 up. It just does not happen. Even the most successful businesses in the world, you know, there was such a struggle before it went up, and it is just what happens. So this is your growing period. If you are stuck, quote unquote, stuck, I want you to stop thinking you're stuck and start thinking you're growing, because that little switch in language will inhibit you to understand what you've got to do. The worst thing for you to do if you are quote unquote stuck is do nothing. If your business is plateauing or it's dipping a little bit, that is your sign to make some changes, make some moves. And never forget, if it's feeling a bit shit, diamonds are formed under pressure, which is like the cheesiest saying in the world, but it's so, so true. Only good things come out of really shit times. Has anyone ever come out of, you know, a bad relationship or a bad time in their life or a bad job? And oh my God, how amazing do you feel after? You feel like a whole new person. And that's what I want you to understand. As much as this business isn't hard at all. It's really not hard, but it's uncomfortable and it makes you feel uncomfortable. But that is where you grow. And I know Ellie's going to touch on it as well.
I love that. And what I always think as well is like, why should you have a business that is amazing, right? Like, why are you entitled to come into this business and have incredible growth? Why would that happen? You know, I don't believe, you know, in luck or anything like that. I believe we make our own luck. So in my opinion, if you're going to have an incredible business, which we all want, well, you're going to have to go through the hard times to get there, and you're going to have to work for it, you know. And sometimes you might see people, because this is where I was at, where I first started. I used to see people come in, smash these promotions, and I was like, this is so unfair. Like, I'm working so hard. Why am I not growing like that? Like, I totally missed the point. The whole point was, even those people that do that, at some point, they are going to get what we call stuck, and they're going to have to change. And that is just the way it is. You know, like Shannon said, you're never going to just fly through this. It doesn't happen. And I think as well, what a lot of people forget is, like Shannon said, if you are stuck, like for things to change, you have to change. And that's where I was at for such a long time. And, you know, like even recently, I've been like, right, okay, I'm saying I want to level up. I want to hit my next position. What am I doing differently now to 6 months ago? And if the answer is nothing, then nothing's going to change, you know, and that may be okay. You may be really happy with where you're at. And you know what? You won't always grow in this business. You will have periods of time where maybe you'll hit a promotion and you will just kind of be stable for a little bit. You maybe have to, I think when you hit a promotion, you've got a big team. You sometimes need moments of time where you just stay in that place and you kind of get used to being that level of a leader, right? But then at some point you're going to be like, right, okay, let's go again. And that's why we do these 90-day game plans. But if you're going to go again, you're going to push, you have to push. And remember, like, no one is entitled to have that amazing business that just manifests itself. Like, you have to manifest it. You have to be the person who deserves the incredible business. And that is the one thing I've always like told myself and kind of like prided myself on, is that I've always been like, I don't expect to have an amazing business, because it took me so long to even get one going. I'm like, if I'm going to have an amazing business, I have to be an even better person today than I was yesterday. I think that's something we're all guilty of. We get so worked up and so focused on our goals and what we want, we totally forget, like, you are the person, the only person, the driving force that can actually get you there. And that's why, like we've said, these moments, like hard moments, are so important, because it's like when you're in your comfort zone, right? Nothing really changes. You don't really grow. Imagine living your entire life in that comfort zone. And do you know what? When you see some people in what we call the rat race, like for me, I'm a teacher, right? And when I go into school and I see these people moaning about the same things day in, day out, they're not happy with, yet they are so comfortable in their situation. I know 100% they will be there until they retire. Then they'll moan they haven't got any money and they've never done anything with their life. And it makes me laugh, because I'm like, yeah, but you're not willing to get uncomfortable to change. So why on earth would anything change? And I think that's the best thing in my eyes about this business. You actually get your eyes open to that concept, and you realize that, do you know what? You have to get uncomfortable, and you are going to go through the shit a bit, you know, but you know what? In life you are, and that's the way it is. But I always think the harder you fall, the harder you fly. And that's the best thing about this business.
Yeah. And the last thing I'd say, touching on that as well, is I say it all the time, but you know, sometimes we do compare ourselves and we do get a bit of comparavitis, but you have to look at all the people that are, let's say, the top, or you inspire to be. They're all completely different. You know, no one's posting the same. No one's talking the same. No one's got the exact same audience. Everyone's different. So therefore the variable is you. And I think quite often we're used to seeing massive success in people and we think, oh my God, it was so easy. You don't know what goes through behind closed doors. You don't know what they've had to do to develop themselves. So that's a bit about what we're going to talk about, because self-development is just so key. So on a scale from 1 absolutely shocking to 10 out of 10 amazing, how good are you at working on yourself? So your mindset, your self-development, let me know in the chat. And like I said, we're all besties here, so we can be honest. It's okay. Even my number's not very high. It's fine. Okay, bit of a mixed bag. Some really low, some really high. Okay, trying to get better. And I love what Ellie says, because I think that is so true. The person who's just put trying, I think it's low, it's just put trying to be better. Because that's all you've got to do. Don't, sometimes with these 90-day game plans and, you know, all these promotions, it's really caught up to think, oh my God, I'm here and I've got to be all the way over there. When in fact, if you just wake up each day and be better than you were yesterday, even if it's one thing you did better, you are on the right track, and you need to remember that. So we're going to talk a little bit about how to pick yourself up in terms of mindset tips. So I've got written here, and I love this saying, you're allowed to be a sad bitch, but you got to come out of it a bad bitch. Okay. And that needs to be the quote. Everyone in the history ever is allowed 5 minutes to cry and feel crap about the situation. You would not be human if you did not do this. And like I say, it's very glamorizing all these people, PMD plus and this and that. They probably have had many breakdowns. Okay. So if you're having a bit of a breakdown, you're thinking, I'm not strong enough, I'm not good enough. You bloody are. Okay. You're allowed 5 minutes to cry, and then you got to crack on. So there's a few things that I love to do, and it's all about making those small daily changes. So I want you to think of someone who inspires you. Let me know in the chat, who inspires you? Who would you love to be like? It could be someone in the business, it could be an influencer, it could be anyone. Who would you love to be like? Okay, think about that person. Oh, it's too kind. Think about that person, and then think, what does their daily routine look like? Because if right now your daily routine is, you know, you're a bit of a hot mess mum, which I am a little bit as well, but it's okay, we're friends. You wake up, you're an hour late, you're running out the door, you're stressed out, you've got like heavy music on talking about drugs and guns on your way to work, and then when you get to work you're stressed out and you're behind and you've not even done your morning post. Do you think the person that you're inspired by has that routine? Yeah. And obviously that's the dramatic version of it. But think about it. They probably have many different routines to use. So it's all about just changing those small daily habits to make that routine a little bit better, to make you a little bit better. Yeah. So little things like me, for example, I don't listen to music in my car. I listen to music at the gym and, you know, other times, but in my car, it's always a podcast because I love to hear people going, you can do this. You know, this is a tip. This is that. Love a bit of Jessie Lee. Is anyone else a Jessie Lee fan?
Yeah.
Maybe it's just me. I feel like people who know her. People who don't know her don't know her. If you don't know her, write her name down. Get her on a podcast. It's amazing, but there's so many podcasts out there. And little things like daily habits. You know, can you wake up half hour earlier just to put your phone down and focus on you? You know, when was the last time you picked up a book and read a chapter? Those of you who are mums on here, right? When was the last time you did something for yourself to fill up your mental health cup? Whether it was half hour in the gym, whether it was, you know, getting your nails done, getting your hair done, or even just those 20 minutes meditation, something. It's all about those small daily habits. Because trust me, when you are that, you know, hot mess and you're running out the door and you don't put yourself first, your business is going to copy that and be that chaotic. So make those small, simple changes. And I promise you that mindset will follow. And when you're nice and strong up here, you can start pummeling it into your business and have a strong business.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, absolutely. And do you know what? I think it's so important what you said there about you're allowed to have a moment to cry, because again, I used to look at people in this business who were, you know, top positions and be like, oh my God, like they're just like not even human. Like, how do they do this? And do you know what? Like, I cry all the time, but as in for like a moment. And this is where I think people go wrong right with this. And I'm not saying like, you know, you shouldn't cry. Of course you should. Like I just said, I do it all the time because we're all human. However, you have to really think about, are you in victim mode or are you in like fly mode? Because the thing is, when you have something, and we all have stuff that goes on within our lives all the time, you know, we've got personal stuff going on, whatever. And it can be really hard to deal with, totally get that. But you have to remember, every single person has got something going on with them. And if every single person had like written on their forehead all the shit they've got going on, I actually think everybody would be really shocked. But there's some people where you may be like, yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Because with things like this, with this business, people become very resilient and they learn to kind of deal with their problems themselves. And I'm not saying you can't turn for help, you can't go to your upline, your sidelines, whatever. But remember, what you say and what you do becomes the person people see you as, right? So if you're someone where you're going through a hard time and you're having a cry, and then you're in that mindset for like a week and you keep going back to the same thing, and you know, maybe you're going to your upline or your sideline or whatever, and you're saying the same thing over and over again about this bad situation, like you're creating that negativity for yourself. And you don't have to get out of that for them, right? But for you, you have to, because you are stuck in that mindset. So like Shannon said, have a cry, absolutely. And then just kind of accept that's what you've got going on, right? But it's your responsibility to learn to run your life around all that stuff you've got going on. Otherwise, you're never going to get anywhere. So when you have these moments of like a struggle, if you need to cry, sit down and cry. Because I find if I need to cry, if I have a cry, I immediately feel way better, okay? However, I will then put on some music, I will dance around like a lunatic, and I will immediately feel better. And I will get myself out of that kind of victim mode, because the worst place you can be is victim mode. Did you want to say something, Shannon?
Yeah, just on that as well. Like I read something not that long ago, and it was like a bad thought is like a song stuck in your head. Yeah. You keep replaying it and keep replaying it. And then we self-sabotage. And when you listen to a song and then it reminds you of other songs, and then before you know it, you're singing and singing. It's exactly the same with a thought. If you've got that thought in your mind and you don't choose to deal with it and you choose to dwell on it, it's going to keep replaying and keep replaying. And then you're going to have all these imaginary scenarios that would have never happened if you just stopped acknowledge, okay, that's a bit of a shitter. How can I improve my mind? How can I get that thought out and improve on myself and move forward? And I just thought about that.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
and do you know what? I'm reading a book actually at the minute, You're a Badass, and I absolutely love it. And it massively focuses on like how there's always going to be like a positive spin you can look at something on. And it's so true. Like, and I think that's very hard to accept when you're in a really bad situation where something's happened to you, like anything, you know, negative. It's very hard in that moment to see the positives. But I'm not saying the situation is positive. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is there will be something, a concept from that situation you can pull out that is positive, and actually that, you know, makes you kind of appreciate and be grateful for where you're currently at. You know, like there will be something that you can pull away from that. And like what Shannon was saying about, you know, getting yourself in a good headspace, like this is so important. And you know what, like I always think back to within my business, like what was going on with me when my business was booming. So for you, it may be when you first joined this business, why was your business doing well? If it was, let's say, okay, because there may be a time when it was. And I can guarantee that there'll be something you are not doing now that you were then. So for example, like for me last year, and I know everyone's business boomed in lockdown, but my business massively boomed last year. And it's because I just really like leveled up as a person. I was on maternity leave, like I was not getting paid from work. So I was like, oh my God, I've got to make this work. And I was, you know, really like going hard on my self-development, like massively, like way more than I'd ever done before. And it made me a different person. Sorry, I've got a really sore throat. And then at the end of last year, I noticed like things happened within my business. People left, like, you know, big, like my legs, or like a lot of them left, that kind of thing. And without realizing, it did affect me. And I wouldn't say it happened quickly, but I noticed that I'd still do self-development every day, but I maybe one day wouldn't, or a couple of days wouldn't listen to a podcast. Or another day I would do I'd just write my affirmations down, but I wouldn't do my journaling. And for me, I know that like creating healthy habits creates a healthy mindset. And it's the days where you don't want to do the mindset stuff that you actually probably need to double up and do way more. Because it's like when we say we don't want to get on a training course, you can't be bothered. Get on it and you'll feel a million times better. You have to stay close to the fire. And that's important for the business, but for your mindset, in my opinion, it's even more important. So when you are, and the thing is, right, when people start to feel like they're maybe not getting orders, or they're not getting any interest, or they feel stuck, like they just absolutely stop doing any form of self-development. And it blows my mind, because I'm like, are you crazy? Like if you're in such a bad mindset and you're doubting yourself so much, doing nothing is going to make it even worse. So what I would say to you is, yes, DMO is massively important. If you don't do your DMO, you won't have a business. However, if you don't do self-development, in my opinion, you also will not have a business. Or you'll have a business that grows so far, and then you will not be able to handle the pressure. And I actually think this is something that people forget a lot. And I've even seen, you know, leaders who've left the business, and, you know, and I've had conversations with people where they've said like, oh, I actually like neglected my mindset. And they've acknowledged that, but yet they're too far gone and they haven't gone back to it. And that's a scary thing. You know, you have to be rock solid in believing in yourself. And it comes from those daily habits, isn't it? It's like when let's say you're training, like you're an athlete, you're training for an event, right? To be the best you can be in that event, you have to train every day. Well, this is the same. To have the best mindset you can have all the time, you have to work on it every day. It's like working on your muscles. Like it doesn't just happen overnight. You have to do it. And I would say as well, just lastly on this, you know, inspire yourself. And like Shannon said, look at the person that you are, you know, and be your biggest like critic. Like look at yourself, because I do this all the time. And I think like, even the way I am with my kids, with my partner, with everybody, and I'm like, is that the person that I want to be? You know, the way I'm with my team as a leader. And I'm going to be totally honest with you, like I would say a few months ago, I was like, you know what, Elle, you are not being the leader that you need to be to get to the next level in your business. And you know what, it's okay to sometimes be in that place, right? But what's not okay is to get pissed off about it, want to move higher, and then do nothing about it. And I was like, I am the only person who can make me move in this business. And guess what? A big part of this business when you have a team is you have to be a leader. You have to lead your team. And I was like, well, I have to level up and I've got to become even better than I am now. And so at some point you may be like, oh, I'm doing everything, I can't possibly do any better. We can always all do more. Like everybody, even people at the top of this company can always all do more. And just think, like, are you inspiring yourself? Because if you don't inspire yourself, you will not inspire others. I've lost you, Shannon. I've lost you.
No, I'm here. I was just in awe. I'm nodding away like, yes,
I'll just keep talking.
yes. Because it is just so true, isn't it? And I always go back to, I think, would I really inspire myself? Like, probably not. And that's okay. But it is important just to acknowledge that and make those changes, because you are good enough. And I know I say this a lot, but I know so many people will be sitting here like, oh, I'm not good enough to do that. You know, my kids drive me mad. Or there's one of my children here now. Hold on, Ellie. My kids drive me mad, or you know, I'm not good enough to wake up early, or I'm not good enough to be that leader, or be that mum, or be that whatever, when in fact, yes, you are. It's just those small simple changes are going to get you there. Like, I was rubbish at self-development at the start. People told me to do the affirmations and I was like, there we go. And I was thinking, what the hell am I doing? Like, this is ridiculous. And then I found podcasts and I found going for walks and I found the little things and, you know, making that extra 30 minutes for my son, who is being crazy right now for some unknown reason. But it's all about those small changes. So we're going to talk a little bit about how to pick your business up. And 2 seconds. Elliot, can you go back inside, please? I'll be there in a minute. Thank you. About how to pick your business up, and what it does come down to being honest with yourself. Like, we can sugarcoat it and we come up with a lot of rationality for ourselves of, oh, well, you know, it's okay that I've not finished my DMO today because, you know, I had a hard day. I didn't wake up to my alarm. So it's okay that I've written off the hard day. And quite often we can make those little excuses for ourselves. How many of us, after 5 minutes work, reward ourselves? Like, be honest, okay? Sometimes I'll do one thing off my DMO, message one person. I'm like, I've earned some Netflix over here. Like, Shannon, no, like, let's be honest, okay? We need to stop rewarding ourselves and going, you know what, that was great hard work today. You did 3 posts and you messaged one person. Congratulations. You know, it's not going to get us to where we want to be. And that attitude, what will happen is if you keep rewarding yourself and keep making these excuses of, oh, well, it's okay because of this and whatever, you're going to end up in a place where you're like, I feel like I've done a lot, but I'm not getting the results. So it's really important to be honest with yourself. And like I said earlier, look at that person you're inspiring to be, or, you know, even the person you're visualizing to be. Like Ellie says, like, are you being the best parent you can be? Is there things you can do to be better? Are you being the best team member you can be? Is there things you could do to be better? You know, are you being the best distributor out there? Probably not. Is there things you can do to be better? And I always say, you know, this business isn't hard. It really isn't hard. What is hard is all the NHS workers that slugged their ass off during COVID. You know, like, if there's any on there, like, hats off to you. This business isn't hard. I could literally be naked and become a partner plus, PMD plus, like, on my laptop. You know, the business isn't hard. I can do it around my kids. I can do it whenever I feel like it. Okay. But you have got to put in the effort. And that's what's important, okay? So what I would say, look at your business. This is from a practical point of view. So if you want to write this down, I would. So actually have a look at your business, and I want you to be as honest as you could possibly be. Look at your work ethic. Do you feel like you are doing that thing where, you know, you're doing 2 points on your DMO and you're taking the day off? Okay, be honest. Are you messaging as many people as you should? Are you generally getting on calls, or are you sat on your phone scrolling? Guarantee there's one person here right now like, oh, she can see me. I can see you. I'm joking, I'm fine. You know, be really honest about your work ethic. Rate it out of 10. 1, you know, I'm not here right now. I get on calls when I feel like it. To 10, I'm up early. I'm doing my DMO. I'm on every call. You know, rate that work ethic. Rate your content. You know, it's all well and good to have a good work ethic, but if your trade right now is social media, like, give me a yes in the chat if pretty much 100% of your business is on social media. Like, that's where you get your clients, that's where you get your team members. Okay, are you perfecting your trade and your craft? How many of you guys listen to things like social media podcasts, how to, you know, get better at Instagram, how to get better at Facebook, latest social media trends? Are you really perfecting your craft? If you know you work from social media, how much effort are you spending on trying to get better at that? Yeah? other thing,
Oh, I
your
love that.
team. No, sorry, go for it.
No, carry on. Sorry, carry on.
You sure?
Yeah.
Other thing, your team. Have a look at your team. If all of your team have fallen off the bandwagon, it is you, and you have got to go for it and run for it right now. It's very common for people to come and people to leave. It's what happens. It's this business. It happens. Do not dwell on it, because the only person you can count on is your goddamn self to show up. Yeah. If you are out there, you are working the hardest you've ever worked. That is enough right now. Okay. Likewise, if you have got team members, when was the last time you stepped up and you did a call? When was the last time, you reached out and asked other teams to collab? When was the last time you set some challenges? Are you in contact with your team members, or do you just contact them, when they put in a couple of orders or when it's month end? Yeah. And the last one, are you actually networking with people? Or are you just having a bit of a scroll and a bit of a roll? Or are you actually talking to people? And I say these little things for you guys to rate out of 10, because they are the foundations of our business. It's posting, it's talking, and it's mindset work, really. So be honest with yourself. I could sit here and I could be like 10 out of 10 social media, 10 out of 10, I'm the best leader. I've got podcasts in my car, but can I do more? Yes, 100% I can bloody do more. Yeah. And that's the important thing to realize, and then realize you're good enough to get higher. So many of us will limit ourselves and we'll be like, well, I'll never be like her. Who said that before? Who said that this week? I'll never be like that person. I could never do that. Yeah, well, you're good enough to. Why not you? Why not you? Yeah. Hard hustle always beats talent. So even if you're looking at the prettiest, slimmest girl in the world, she's amazing at social media, and you're thinking, oh, I'm never going to succeed because I'm never like that. Well, yes, you bloody are, because you're good enough as yourself. You just need to level up in your areas for yourself, okay? Work on you, work on those little things every single day to improve you, and you'll get there, 100%. Hard hustle always beats talent, and that's what you need to remember.
Oh, I love that. And you know what? I'm really pleased with that, because it reminded me when I first started this business, I remember being like, wow, I am going to change my life with this business. And it's really funny because my partner was just like, whatever. I didn't even tell him when I first joined. And he was like, oh, of course you are, whatever. And I don't know, I just from the get-go was like, everybody in this business is the same. We're all human beings. It doesn't take a special qualification or a special bit of intelligence. It's just a business for everyone. And as soon as I realized that, I knew I had to do a lot of development. I knew I did, but I was like, I 100% can do this business and I can bloody smash it. And that gave me so much excitement, so that in those times where I was still trying to get my 825 for months in, I was like, yeah, but I can, because they did it. And you have to remember that, because it's very easy to get overwhelmed by the Range Rovers people buy, the houses people buy, and all this stuff. That stuff's great, right? Take it all away. They are just you, but a different person. But they are a person. That's all they are. And I think that's so important, because like Shannon said, why not you, right? You absolutely can. And I was just going to say a few things about picking your business up. So my favorite thing to talk about is behind the scenes. And I actually mentioned this to my team earlier, it's very easy, isn't it, to put up, let's say 5 posts on your Facebook, right? A couple of posts on your Instagram, do a reel, go live, do an Instagram TV, add your stories, and be like, I have bloody smashed it today. And if your upline looks on your page, you're like, oh my God, she is on fire. Hats off to you. Amazing. And then you get to 9 p.m. at night and you're like, oh God, I've not done any messaging yet. And then you're like, oh, I'm just gonna put Love Island on. And then, you sit there and you're like, yeah, I'll do a few messages. So out of those tasks on your DMO, in that situation, what is the one task that kind of gets slacked on? It's your messaging. And you know what? As soon as I realized in this business, the messaging part is probably the most income producing activity I actually could do, I was like, okay, well, then that's what I need to prioritize. So what I would say, a big tip for you guys is, when you wake up, and obviously, going back to mindset, I always say work on yourself first. But what I try and do is, and particularly for me, the days today when I've been working in my teaching job, I can't go live till later in the day anyway, or do a reel, anything like that. My posting I have to kind of create the night before, because I'm at school and it's very hard to be on my phone. However, what can I do that no one at school knows I'm doing, because they can't see it? that I actually can do. It's the most effective thing. I can message. And it's really funny because my days at work, I actually feel like I run my business better. Why? Because in those days, by 10 a.m., I've messaged 50 people on Instagram, 50 on Facebook, and I immediately feel like, oh, I'm actually smashing it today. Okay. So what I've been working on recently is the days I'm not at work, so I don't work on Monday and a Friday, is to have that discipline within myself. And I would recommend you guys to have this, where your priority that day is to do your messaging. Because I can guarantee you, if it gets to 9 p.m. at night and your page looks empty and your story's empty, and you've done your messaging, whether Love Island's on or not, or you're tired, you will be like, oh my God, my page looks rubbish. I've got to sort it out. And you will sit maybe 2 hours later to do some more posts, because they're the things that everybody can see. They're the things that your upline might judge you on and be like, oh, you know, she's not really doing this business because she's not really posting. And I think we are very guilty of making our social media look pretty and thinking, are we doing the behind the scenes? And, you know, be honest with yourself. What percentage of your business is messaging?
You know what? I love that. And I just wanted to quickly back in because no, I could see you were like going. And it's so true. And something I've learned to do now is if I've, you know, put the kids to bed or whatever, I'm about to go on my phone and work, the first thing I will do is go in my inbox, because that is where the money's made. You know, you don't get an instant order from doing a post unless someone literally knows to go to your website and order. You know, that is where your income is going to be made. So why are so many of us spending hour, 2 hour trying to make a post look perfect and not talking to people? Because that's where the income is. Try doing that. That would be a massive top tip from me. When you go to work and you go to your phone, go to that messenger first. And you know why as well? So many people don't do it because, like I said, it's uncomfortable. But guess what? Those uncomfortable things is where we grow and where we get better. You have to get uncomfortable to get the results. I guarantee the more every single day, boost order, woo! I guarantee the more every single day, congratulations, Bethany, you go in your inbox and you get uncomfortable, the more orders you're going to have. And you know what as well? Some people's reach is terrible. They whack up a post, it gets 1 like and it's your upline, right? Guess what? When you start messaging people, more people are going to see your post and you're going to get more interaction on it, which is the point of you posting anyway, right? So the whole thing is you want to prioritize that inbox. And I want to make it clear, we don't mean go and message 5 million people, hey, I do Juice Plus, because funny story, that's what I did when I first joined. Oh Lord, the paragraph size of, hey, I do Juice Plus and I sell this, terrible. But it doesn't hurt to break the ice. I will message my friends list, say something like, hey lovely, just going to my friends list, I noticed we hadn't speak, always here if there was anything I could help you with. You know, it's dead simple. It breaks the ice. Quite often I get ignored, but quite often I do start a conversation and they don't have the order. Other things, you know, hashtag messaging and messaging people watching my stories. There's so many things you can do to connect with people. How many of us, and be honest, every time someone accepts our friend request or follows, how many of us actually introduce ourselves? Like probably not a lot. Or if we do it in a really creepy way, right? I literally, everyone that follows me, I'm like, hey, thank you so much for the follow. My name's Shannon. If you need anything at all, feel free to ask. I'm here to help. You know, it's so silly, but it breaks the ice. And that is why that messaging is so important. So just to go over that quickly so you guys can write it down. Intro messages, messaging your friends list. If you've got 5,000 friends, go through them right now. Message them, break that ice, you know, following up with your likes. There is so much you can do.
Yeah, and what I would say as well on messaging, before I keel over, is as well, like in your inbox, things that have really worked for me recently. And like Shannon said, yeah, obviously, you know, you don't want to be spamming people. Like I always say to my team, people who are new to your page, you want to build the relationship up. It's so important. And actually, like one of my uplines, Ross, is a really amazing book on that. So have a little look. It's amazing. Build that connection. And obviously at some point, like I'm going to go in and introduce the business after a few conversations, because, you know, that's how I'm going to, you don't want to never mention it, because otherwise someone else has mentioned it to them. But what I make sure I do is after I've had that initial interaction about the business, or let's say they've messaged me about the products. This happens quite a lot with mums. You know, we've had a little conversation. They see my post, they message me. After you've had that conversation, they know that you do this business. They know you do the products. You know, I think we're very guilty of, and I did this in the start, where I just message again and again and again, being like, are you still interested? have any more thoughts on that? Whereas, and why was I doing that? Because I wanted an order, because maybe I was going for SP for the millionth month in a row, and it was very much about me, 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 me. I need this order, me, me, me. Whereas now, if I have a conversation with them about either the business or the products, yes, I will check in with them, always have to follow up. However, I've come to realize that follow-up can mean very different to pestering them with messages. So one thing I'm doing at the minute is I will just send value in my inbox. So, and I'll go through my A to Z list on Facebook, and I will just send, like, you know, something like a self-care quote from Pinterest, and I will just give value. And this has worked wonders for me, because I'm taking the element out of I am speaking to you because I need you to order from me because you're going to benefit my business. And I'm making it more like, I'm just checking in with you to see if you're okay. And if you need me and you want to order with me, I'm here, but no pressure. And when you have that mindset with people, you come across totally differently. And I would really urge you all to go and look at your conversation with your potentials and see, how do you come across? Because sometimes I've looked before and been like, I've come across quite rude. Like you will do. And you really have to kind of think like that, because the way I see it, I'm going to be around for a very long time. Thanks to Juice Plus, I'm very healthy, okay? I know I don't sound it right now. So I've got a lot of years, okay? So I'm not, yes, I'd love to be, you know, NMD, PMD really soon. That would be amazing, okay? But I'm here for a while. Love this business. It's who I am. Not in a rush. So I would rather have 5,000 friends on my Facebook, let's say, who they know what I do. We've had a chat about it, but I do not put pressure on them. And I check in, let's say, once a month with a bit of value. Because when they're ready, at some point, I believe that they're probably, if they've already spoke to me about the products on the business, unless they've gone somewhere else, which I highly doubt it, because nothing else is as good, they're going to come to me and they're going to want either the business opportunity or the products. And guess what? If I've messaged them 4 times, pestering them, they're probably going to block me and they're going to feel uncomfortable because I've already chased up 4 times and they didn't reply. Whereas if I just check in and say, have a birthday one month, another month, send a positive quote, that kind of thing, they're gonna, and we've had that connection. When the time is right for them, they will come to me. And I think if you change your mindset with this business and you kind of take away, like, yes, we want the order, but take away from that, okay? Remember, we are here to serve. And I never used to get this concept. I was like, no, we're not. We're here to build a business. And I was very impatient at the start. And this is where I went wrong, like, for ages. And I actually cringed now, because I have people on my Facebook from when I started 3 years ago, and I have just got message after message after message. And it's very selfish, my messaging, okay? There's nothing in there of me being just a message to see how they are. And that's what people relate to. So that would be a big tip from me. I think that's really important.
Yeah. And you know what I was going to add? Every single order I've had this month has come from someone I've had an initial conversation with first. So even if it is that, you know, they followed me and I've popped a little, hey, just to let you know, I'm here if you need anything. Thank you so much for the follow. And then, you know, maybe they've watched a story, I've reacted to their story. It's come from that. It's not, I'm 99% sure no one has ordered from me who I've been like, hey, want to order? By the way, I've got a freebie tonight. You know, no one's come from that. It's just been so genuine. I think that is what turns people off network marketing, to be honest. It is that, you know, this person messaged you once at the start of the month and now it's end of month and you're scraping orders. You've gone back and be like, hi, please order from me because I've got this offer and this offer. And we just need to play it a bit more cool. And something I heard from someone was like, if it feels a bit icky to you, it feels a bit icky to them. So just be chilled. And
I also think as well, like, we often shoot ourselves in the foot like this, don't we? Because I know I've probably got 20 people on my Facebook who they're still on there, but I think, and I know they've blocked my messages, and I'm like, it's because I was just too intense. Like, if I just chilled out a bit and just, you know, relaxed, they probably would have ordered with me later on. But because I was so set on getting that order, because I was going to be SP that month, that I just totally forgot to, like, just chill out. And it's like, you know, it's like if you're on a date, you don't want to be too keen, right? You don't want to, like, give all your cards away. Play it cool. This is the same, okay? Play it cool. You, with the products and the business, you have the honeypot, right? People feel crap. We're going to make them feel amazing. People want to have a better life. We've got the opportunity. We don't need to beg people to order our products to join our team. Like, they will. It will happen naturally. And I think as well, like, within that, really be authentic. Like, I know people say this all the time, but really take that on board, you know, like, just be you in the best way you can. And the thing is, like, people often say to me, and I didn't used to get this initially, but people often say in the last 6 months, say things like, oh, you seem like a real person, like whether I'm talking about the products or the business, because I just have a conversation, you know. And there was a woman, she ordered with me last month, and she ordered the other week, and she ordered the body transformation plan, and the berries, not the creams, anyway, and she we had a conversation. I voice noted her for half an hour of like, it was half an hour constant voice notes. I would never have done that in the start, because I'd have gone and got a script, or I maybe would have voice noted, but I would have voice noted just about the products. Whereas now we were just chatting about life in general, and we were just having a conversation. And I genuinely feel like I make friends in this business who I maybe don't even order straight away, but that's the way you want to be. Relationship, be authentic, be you, and have a conversation. And I think that is what will take you far in this.
I think as well, you just have to finish up, you just have to remember the saying, people will buy from people they know, like, and trust. And if you are coming across as salesy, forceful, pushy, and you've not taken that time to build that relationship, you know, people aren't going to trust you, and they're not going to like you, and therefore they're not going to buy from you. And I know when I started this business, I used to hear, well, just talk to more people. And I was like, oh my God, what the hell does that mean? But it's true. You know, day to day, my most important thing I do daily is react to stories, reply to people's, you know, the stories they're uploading, you know, do my introduction message and introduce myself. That is the most foundational thing I do to build my business. And I think that's why following's built so quick. And it does feel like when I get a client, it's like getting a friend. When I get a team member, it's like getting a friend, because I've spoke to them and I've built that relationship. So what I would say off the back of that is, you know, tomorrow is a brand new month. Come up with some sort of game plan. This call has been all about completely leveling up. You know, be honest with yourself. If you're not where you need to be, you can get to where you want to be, but it's all those simple changes that are going to get you there. But you need to be honest with yourself, and you need to decide, right, this is what I need to do, and I need to do this for myself and no one else. And go away, make that game plan, whether it's a 90-day game plan or not, something to start tomorrow a better version than today. And that will be my advice.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, 100%. And also, like, I would say, believe in yourself and don't put too much pressure on yourself. And yes, of course, you're going for promotion, of course you are, like, but don't let the pressure of that take away the fun. Because I think when people quit this industry, they totally lose the fun of it. Like, I would never leave this business, because I love it so much, because it literally gives me life. Like, and do you know what? If there's ever been a time where I felt under pressure, I have focused massively on filling my cup up, because if you don't do that, you will crumble under pressure. And we see it all the time. And when I see that happen now, it makes me really sad, because I think, oh my God, we've got this business that's given me so much to my life and literally fulfills me so much. And that other person has totally ruined that for themselves, right? Like, we're our own worst enemies, and just do not do that. Remember your why as well. And when you're having those days where you can't be bothered, just think to yourself, like, do you want to change your life for this business? Because that's what I say to myself every day. And that's why, you know, me and Shannon are the same like this. That's why every day, the entire time we've done this business, we've shown up. We've never had a day off, you know, we've had kids, whatever. We've never had a day off. Why? Because we're going to change our lives with this business, you know, and you have to have that in your mindset. And you have to really have that kind of unshakable belief in you. And that will only come from leveling up and working on your mindset. But the way I see it is, this business enables you to work on you. It forces you to work on you. And in my opinion, what better way to spend your time than working on you, right? What better way? Like, working on me is my favorite thing. It's not selfish. It's the best thing you can do. We're done.
I was just checking. Honestly, that was absolutely amazing. And I feel like that was what so many people needed to hear tonight. And you know what? I will just say one thing. If anybody, and I'm sure pretty much everybody on this call will follow Harriet and Dan, if you're looking at them in Ibiza right now, isn't that the kind of thing you want to be able to do? Just swan off to Ibiza, have the wedding of your absolute dreams, be able to take all your family there with you, and just there's no expense, no issue. They worked 6 years in this business. They didn't get lucky. They worked their asses off. And that is the same for anybody that has had success in this business. They worked hard. And if you feel like you are going for a place where you need to level the hell up, find a way to do it. When I felt like I was struggling, I realized that actually I needed to come from a place where I needed a new challenge. I got a full-time job to do around my business. And now some of you will think, oh my God, you're crazy. I can't do my business around my full-time job. I found a way to make it work. And now everything has started to fall into place. So you kind of just have to really, really think about what it is that you want, how you're going to make it work, and how the hell you're going to get to that place where you really want to be. And as both Shannon and Ellie have said, you know, every single day that you keep working, if you're here for the long run, doesn't matter how long it takes. Just have fun, love what you do, and work on yourself, because everything will come into place eventually. And I'm just going to finish by saying what Shannon said earlier. You're allowed to be sad, bitch, but come out a bad bitch, because that is the best thing I think I've ever heard her say. But thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate your time. And everybody go and smash the rest of the deadline day. And we'll see you all soon. Bye.